News Matt in the building. What's good, y'all? Hope you're having a blessed day. But man, oh man, what is going on? When I saw this, I was shocked. I'm not gonna lie, and I can't believe it. It doesn't make any sense. We're gonna talk all about it. So if you're new to the channel and love basketball content, what are you doing? Join the family, hit that subscribe button, and leave a like for more. Now, without further ado, let's get into this mess. Alright, so first thing is first, when Bronny and Mikey were coming onto the scene in the basketball world, they were regarded as two of the top players. Ever since they were really young, even in middle school and up until these recent years, they was regarded as top 5 players and top 10 players. And often, and in most cases, some people thought Mikey was the best player in the world, and others felt Bronny was easily up there too. Some people didn't feel that way, but even if you didn't think they were one of the top 2 or 3 players, you couldn't deny the fact that they were easily top 10. But however, just within the past year, a lot has changed and people have many mixed emotions and feelings about these two young fine men. As a freshman, Mikey played for San Ysidro and Bronny played for Sierra Canyon, 2 different programs. Sierra Canyon at the time had multiple 5-star recruits and they've been a powerhouse for years, and San Ysidro, it's not really known for being one of the greatest high school teams ever. So right there and off the bat, you have these 2 players in different situations. One's going to be the star player as just a 9th grader, and the other one's going to be coming off the bench. I don't like to make assumptions a lot, but Mikey probably would have came off the bench for Sierra Canyon too as a 9th grader. And when their 9th grade seasons came to an end, they had 2 different resumes, and Mikey really separated himself. It wasn't necessarily the fact that Mikey was way better than Bronny, but he was given a better opportunity to play right away and get all of the shine. Mikey helped this case a lot because his freshman year was arguably one of the best freshman seasons you'll ever witness. He averaged 30 points per game. Do I need to say anything else? And at the time, the only conversation out there was Mikey was either 1 or 2. If you didn't have Mikey at number 1, you couldn't even talk about and even make a case to say he should be any lower than number 2 or maybe 3. 1 and 2, the gap was close, but it was Mikey and DJ, and I want to emphasize that so you understand it. The gap between the 2nd best player and the 3rd best player in the class was so huge at the time, but now things have changed. Let's talk about Bronny's side though, because he didn't hurt himself his 9th grade season, but he didn't help himself. And when you're talking about rankings, that matters a lot. We've stated it and talked about it multiple times, and everyone knows the story. He didn't get to play a lot because the team was stacked and he was coming off the bench, and he only averaged roughly 4 to 5 points per game. And before you try to get defensive and defend Bronny, I know the case, and so does everyone else. We understand why he wasn't playing as a 9th grader. All I'm saying is he couldn't help himself improve his stats and numbers, so other people passed him in the rankings. And plus 2, it's not every day you see a 5-star recruit come off of the bench. I don't care if they're a 9th grader on varsity, it just doesn't happen. They're regarded and listed as a 5-star recruit for the main reason that they are one of the best in the world at what they do. I said all that because it's very important and vital to the situation we're about to talk about, because it gets really interesting. Flash forward in time to their sophomore seasons. At the beginning and all throughout the season, their rankings, it didn't change that much. We saw Mikey's ranking flip-flop. Sometimes he went up to number 3 and sometimes he went down to number 5 or 4, but nothing lower. And when you're dropping or going up 1 or 2, it's not that big of a deal. For Bronny, it was a different story because, as most of you know, he really didn't get to play much this season. Due to a surgery he had on his meniscus, he was sidelined, and once again, it was another prime example of he didn't get worse or hurt his case, but he didn't do anything to help it. So therefore, other people that were behind him started to pass him. And Mikey had a good sophomore season. It wasn't great like his freshman year, but it was good and it was a great learning year. He was still a 5-star recruit, but Bronny did lose his 5-star ranking and now he's looked at as a 4-star. And how most recruiting sites and people make their rankings is they do 1 before the season, 1 midway through the season, and 1 at the end. We haven't had new rankings come out in 4 to 5 months, but as of today, the new ones came out and they're shocking. The new official class of 2023 rankings came out, and at number 1, it's been the same guy for a very long time. We got DJ Wagner. Do I even have to say anything about Mr. Wagner? He's a great player, and he more than likely will hold that spot throughout his entire career. In the previous rankings, Mikey Williams was ranked 5th, so keep that in mind. I'm going to throw it up on the screen, but as you notice, 2 through 5, there's no Mikey, so he dropped. And all the players in the top 5 except for DJ Wagner, they're new to that spot. I know exactly what you all are thinking. Well, Mikey probably dropped 1 or 2 spots, but no, he dropped dramatically. If he would have dropped to 7 or maybe 8, I wouldn't have thought anything about this and we probably wouldn't be making this video, but I think what just happened and where they have him, it's disrespectful. I don't know how you can justify it, doesn't make any sense, so let's just get into it. Mikey Williams fell from number 5 all the way down to number 14, which is a huge decrease. From 5 all the way down to 14, that's almost like a slap across the face. Before I speak on that, I want to talk about Bronny. In the previous rankings, he was at 24. But he dropped all the way down to 34. Here's the thing with Bronny, and I feel like I say it over and over, but it's the right and only answer. I don't have a problem with him dropping to 34 because you can look at it from 2 ways. He came off the bench as a 9th grader, so he was barely playing. And as a 10th grader, he didn't even play, so there's no way for him to go up. He can only go down. We haven't seen him in action in a very long time, so you can't justify him holding his spot. And when he does play, you can see the potential, but he hasn't had any 20 or 25 point games. All the people ahead of Bronny and even the people behind him, they're putting up 25 and 30 points a night. With that being said, I also don't have a problem with Bronny being as high as number 34, and I wouldn't even have a problem with him being in the top 10. The reason for that is because these rankings are based on potential, and I think Bronny has a potential to be the number 1 or number 2 best player in his entire class. I really do. Now, am I saying that's going to happen? No, but potential means you can reach that. He hasn't even reached his peak, he's nowhere even close, and he's only going to get bigger and stronger. When it's all said and done for his high school basketball career, he could be a top 5 player. I could sit up here and talk all day about Bronny because I think he's going to be a great player, but let's talk about and get back on track with Mikey. I'm not really too sure as to why you can even vouch and say he should drop to 14. He dropped 9 spots. That's ridiculous. I'm going to be very honest with this statement. Some people think Mikey's the best player in his class. And let's just say you don't think he's the best. But to say he's not in the top 10, that's just mind-boggling. I don't even mind people saying him overrated, and let's say he is, but if you go and watch him play, you can tell he's one of the best players in his class. Maybe he's not top 5 or even top 8, but he's not 14. That's just, I can't even describe how I feel about that. It's really ironic though, because the older that Mikey and Bronny get, maybe this is a coincidence, let me know what you think, but they continue to drop in their rankings. Do we have a prime example in a case of these 2 players peaking too early? I don't think so, but it is something to talk about. I'm sure they'll go back up in the rankings, and I think they both have a lot to prove and they both have a lot of potential, so I'm not too worried about this. I know how good they are, and I think you, everyone watching this, we know how good they are. What really intrigues me about this video and situation is I'm just curious and I want to know why they dropped them. I'm going to leave it right there because I could go on and on for days and hours about this topic. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section. But with all this being said, that's going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. If you're new to the channel, wait on! Join the family. Hit that subscribe button and leave a like for more. And as always, let's be great about y'all. Peace!